really opening the roads, but clearing the bushes. That is what literally they did. And I don't know who gave them this idea that MCAs are the ones to pick or appoint the contractors. I have information, Madam Speaker, that these MCAs, the budget is 3 million. What they do, they go to a contractor and tell them, I have a road for you for 3 million. Give me 1.5 million. How do you expect a contractor to do a road with 1.5 million? A road that is motorable. It does not make sense. County governments, please, don't allow MCAs to bring contractors to do the roads. Do the roads yourself and do it properly. The roads that have been opened, please make sure you maintain them. There is no logic in opening new roads when the roads that exist cannot be, that are not passable. Madam Speaker, my final comment, because I know my colleagues also want to talk about this bill. I have two issues just to mention quickly. Number one, we have ring-fenced the money for counties. Even if there's shortfall in revenue collection, it is ring-fenced. The counties will just get the money that was meant for them, the 314 billion. Let the national government, through the Treasury, release money in good time to counties so that we don't have this excuse that money has not come. The other one is asking a fundamental question. Yes, we have this budget, but where is the money? We need to ask that question. Are we going to collect the revenue that we have projected we are going to collect? And if we are not going to collect it, are we going to borrow? If we are going to borrow, two things have to happen. Do we have the capacity to pay back the loans? And number two, that also we need to ask, that money, once it comes, let it be spent for the intended purpose. Let us not borrow money to pay salaries. It doesn't make sense. Let us not borrow money for our travels. Let us not borrow money to drink tea in our offices. No one can borrow money to buy sugar. If you are borrowing money to buy sugar in your house, then you should know you are facing financial distress. Let us be careful when we borrow money as a country, and make sure that the money that we borrow go to the intended purpose. Madam Speaker, my final plea to ourselves as members of National Assembly and the Senate, there is nothing wrong disagreeing, but let us disagree objectively. Let us disagree objectively. Let us not just disagree because we want to flex muscles, that we want to show that we also have power. A lot of times, by the way, Madam Speaker, there was a financial year, I can't remember exactly which one it was. I think it was either 2015, 2016. Even after we had agreed with the Senate on how much should go to the counties and how much should go to the national government, because there was a talk here that the National Assembly is superior to the senators went and changed the figure just to demonstrate that they have the power. And by the way, that was the longest time that we served without division of revenue. In fact, we almost lost the division of revenue bill. Let CRA listen to us. Let us listen to CRA. Let us listen to Treasury because they are the ones who manage our resources. Let us listen to everybody, including the counties, and let us work as a unit, because no one is allocating this money for personal use. But whatever we are allocating is in the best interest of Kenyans. Let us read Article 201, Article 203. Those two articles, if you take your time, whether you are a member of National Assembly, a senator, governor, MCA, wherever you are, those two articles are very critical. Madam Speaker, I support the bill.
Very well said, Honorable Minority Leader. And honorable members, remember that the speaker's screen is not functioning. So we have an opportunity to employ the third parliamentary language, which is a sign language, so that the speaker can catch your eye. But I'll also make sure to balance the two sides. On this side, honorable member for Dagoretti South.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And I don't know what caught your attention, whether it was my smile or my hand gesture, but I will take this opportunity to say thank you very much for noticing me. And I stand, and I'd like to say, first off, that I stand to support this the Division of Revenue Bill of 2018. And I want to say, Madam Speaker, that the aspirations of Kenyans are well captured in the Kenya Constitution of 2010, where as Kenyans we decided that we want to have 2 levels of government. And our aspirations were to have 2 levels of government, not that they work at cross purposes, but so that they can work in tandem. And we do not have a better demonstration of putting our money where our mouth is than with this division of revenue bill, where we agree how much we want to go to the national government and how much of it should be devolved to the county governments. Madam Speaker, I'll also note that time is of essence, and I'd like to commend the committee that was at work, which is the Budget and Appropriations Committee, for realizing that time is of essence, under the able leadership of Mheshimiwa Kimani Waishongwa, who is my neighbor, and making sure that operations in county governments do not stall or are sacrificed at the altar of government bureaucracy, and were able to bring this bill ahead of time. Madam Speaker, I also note the journey that has been taken by this committee to arrive where we are, and I'd like to commend the extensive consultation that has gone before this bill was presented, and the people they have been able to have consultation with, up to and including the committee, the Council of Governors in this country, making it easier for us to actually implement what is captured in this bill. Madam Speaker, the sharing of the national cake is how their resources are being used by these 2 governments, which is the national government and also the county government. And as such, Madam Speaker, I would want to raise my little concern by first saying that with great power comes great responsibility. And I say this noting that since the onset of devolution, which is now 6 years old, we are able to go on the ground and track the impact. And Madam Speaker, I want to say this without any fear of contradiction, that when you look at funds that are devolved through members of parliament, and I want to call them the CDF funds, you are able to pinpoint projects that have been put up using the devolved fund called CDF. However, if you go to our constituencies, Madam Speaker, you will have a problem pinpointing what it is that has been put up using funds that we are channeling through these county governments. And in fact, it leaves us as members of parliament in a very precarious situation. Because as we are doing our work very well, people will expect us to be working beyond our mandate. We will have questions that will be raised on projects that should have been undertaken by county governments. Our people will want to ask us why it is that we are not attending to matters of health, why it is we are not attending to matters of roads, and other issues that go beyond the mandate of CDF. As such, Madam Speaker, I think this bill, even as we pass it, gives us an opportunity as a House to start having a conversation, as has been shown by our principals, His Excellency the President, and also the Leader of Opposition, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, as we talk about a national dialogue, to be able to also unpack this Katiba that we passed. Have a conversation around the 20% that we said was not quite good when we were passing it, that we shall revisit. And I think this is a time to revisit. Because to my mind, Madam Speaker, I see us putting in some money that will go to some roads. I'm seeing us putting some money that will go to health. I'm seeing us putting some money that will go to youth development in this schedule that we raised in our division of revenue bill of 2018. And there is a discussion, which I will call the elephant in the room, about some of the functions that we were able to devolve. I think it's time that we reopen this discussion and ask ourselves as a country whether it was good wisdom for us to be devolving matters of health, for example, seeing the issues that are coming up with the strikes by the nurses, the strikes by the doctors, the inability of our health facilities to take care of the health of our nation. Madam Speaker, I will not want to take much more time, other than to say that I would like it to go on record that it is commendable that this Committee on Budget and Appropriations Committee was able to bring these ahead of time, and I'm hoping that we will have a smoother implementation of the same, not expecting much problem from what I would want to call the lower house or the Senate as we implement what it is that we have here on the Division of Revenue Bill 2018. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Leader of Minority, Minority Whip. I don't mean to
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
disarrange the order.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I stand here today first to congratulate the CS Rotich, Henry Rotich, the CS for Treasury, for the work well done, Madam Speaker. We know very well that as per our Constitution, this is supposed to be tabled here before 30th of April. He has made history, Madam Speaker, that we are discussing this bill, Division of Revenue Bill today, when it's only, we have a whole 1.5 months to go. Madam Speaker, I want to confirm that His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta did not make a mistake to retain Rotich as the CS in Treasury. Secondly, Madam Speaker, I also want to thank Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah. You know Kimani Ichung'wah, Madam Speaker, we were with him in the last Committee of Parliament in the PIC. And I have no doubt he's up to the task and is going to perform much better than the former chairman of the Budget Committee. He has done very well and is up to this task. Madam Speaker, as earlier said, the Division of Revenue, it is a bill that provides a framework for sharing the national revenue vertically. Once the revenue has been shared vertically, Madam Speaker, then it gives room for the now sharing of this revenue horizontally, Madam Speaker. Managed maybe to collect taxes to reach its target. There's no way they can compromise, Madam Speaker, on the allocation that has been made for the counties, Madam Speaker. In case of a shortage, Madam Speaker, we can only sacrifice the amount that is going to the national government, but not to the county government, Madam Speaker. I want to make it very clear to some civil societies outside there, Madam Speaker, who have been going to court pertaining the CDF allocation. They need to understand that CDF allocation, after vertical sharing, it comes from the allocation of the national government. And they need also to know, and we amended the law, Madam Speaker, that's why it's no longer called CDF, it is called National Government CDF, where its primary function is to implement those projects of the national government as stipulated in Schedule 4 of the Constitution. Madam Speaker, we've heard about the 4 agendas of the Jubilee government. And here we are talking about housing. We are talking about manufacturing. We are talking about food security. And we're also talking about universal health care. For us to move forward, Madam Speaker, it is important that the counties, wherever they are, they must align their county integrated development plans on this 4 agenda that the Jubilee government has put in place, Madam Speaker. And in the overall picture, it must also be linked to the Vision 2030. Otherwise, Madam Speaker, if we are going to have plans, development plans from different counties that are deviating from the one of the national, we are not going to achieve the overall national agenda, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the division of revenue is very important. Madam Speaker, this House, we are now in the presidential system, Madam Speaker. In the presidential system, Parliament is a budget-making house, Madam Speaker. And that's why, when it comes to Committee of Budget, the Committee of Budget, Madam Speaker, is a National Assembly. It's not in the Senate, Madam Speaker. It is also important to note that when you look at the membership of the Budget Committee, the numbers are high because of the critical functions that they have, Madam Speaker, as pertains this House, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, when we move on like last time, we had an issue where the matter went up to the Supreme Court. There was a Supreme Court advisory, but Madam Speaker, it's the highest time we should go back to that Supreme Court to review that advisory, Madam Speaker. I'm saying so because last time we had issues. We've had many times issues. We passed the Division of Revenue Bill here, Madam Speaker. When it goes to the Senate, we normally have differences, and we go to the mediation. And after mediation, when the bill dies, what happens? because we don't have any provision in the law. There are so many, Madam Speaker. This is the time we ask ourselves questions. Is this amount enough? Or is the highest time that we must increase more funds, Madam Speaker, the funds to go to the counties? Devolution is a wonderful idea, Madam Speaker. And this is the highest time that as we move forward, we should be able to devolve more, Madam Speaker, that goes to the counties to take care of these functions. Madam Speaker, the amount of money that is there for national sharing, it is based on the immediate last audited accounts that have been approved by this Parliament. It's the highest time we are calling upon the Public Accounts Committee, which is headed by Honorable Ndai, to move with speed to expedite, so that as we are moved forward, the money that is going to be based on, the accounts that are going to be based on, they are going to be the latest, Madam Speaker. As we speak now, we are talking of 2018, but the revenue of sharing, the accounts that have been passed, they have been audited and passed, we are talking about 3 years behind the line. The two cannot move together, Madam Speaker. So this is the highest time that we must move with speed. The people in the Accounts Committee, I know you are up to the task, so that as we move on, and I'm happy that Madam Vice Chair is here, Honorable Bunyasi, an economist who have been working in the World Bank, is here, is going to provide that expertise. And of course, you people, you're on that committee before, so there's an element of the learning curve that you have, so that you can carry along the other honorable members, the new ones who have just come, so that you can move with speed, burn the midnight oil, so that come next year, at least we should be talking of the accounts of, if possible, 2017, 2018. Madam Speaker, as I speak here today, when I go back to my great county of Trans Nzoia, His Excellency the Governor has put up a referral hospital. And he's trying his best, Madam Speaker, to equip these referral hospitals. And this is a call, Madam Speaker, to other counties. When it comes to level 5 of the referral hospitals, which are in counties, you go to some counties, they're in a sorry state. And we are calling upon the respective governors to put in more effort to the level 5 referral hospitals and the counties, so that we can be able to reduce the pressure when it comes to the national hospitals like Kenyatta Hospital. Madam Speaker, recently, you've seen what happened to Kenyatta Hospital. Somebody somewhere was mixed up, it was done a head surgery. It is because they are overcrowded, Madam Speaker. I know time has gone, but I support.
The member for Molo, what is your intervention?
Intervention to call the mover of this motion to reply so that we can go to the third reading. Thank you.
I can see that members still have are expressing interest to
Myself being one of them.
continue. But member for Molo, you can't have it both ways. You can't want the mover to reply and also want to contribute. You have to be genuine in what you're asking for. So I think we are going to give a few more members. And then, and I know somebody was trying to say that we reduce time. Members, for those of you who understand the standing orders, you cannot move or purport to invoke Standing Order 97 when the motion that you intend to reduce time is ongoing. You can only do that before the motion begins. And so members should be alert and be able to make use of that standing order. And because of the amount of interest we have, members kindly just minimize you can summarize your points so that we can have as many as we can. Honorable Latandi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for noticing me. And I stand to support this very important bill. And Madam Speaker, I would like to say that this bill basically underscores the importance of counties and devolution. And Madam Speaker, to tell you how devolution is very important, you need to look at the Agenda 4, Jubilee Government Agenda 4. And you realize that out of the 4, 3 of them are actually to be accomplished through the cooperation of county governments. So, Madam Speaker, I would like to say that most members have castigated the Public Accounts Committee for failing to approve the subsequent audited accounts to facilitate allocation of more revenues to counties. And Madam Speaker, I would like to disagree, because I think the government should not hide behind the law and fail to allocate more resources to counties. The law says that a minimum 15% of the approved revenue accounts. But the government has the option of actually allocating more resources to counties to be able to facilitate devolution. And I think this is something that we need to underscore. We cannot fail to allocate resources to counties, given that we have already given counties a lot of functions. Agriculture, healthcare, housing, all these functions are to be done by counties. So I would like to say that, in my view, I think let us, because to take the Public Accounts Committee a lot of time to approve all these subsequent accounts. So let the government be honest and allocate more resources to counties to facilitate the functions that have been devolved. Secondly, Madam Speaker, after my sojourn in this House, I'm likely to move to the Senate. And therefore, I would like members of this House also to understand that Senate has the core mandate of protecting devolution. And therefore, we should not expect the Senate to basically pass through this bill without going through, looking at it thoroughly. We know the Senate are some of the most experienced legislators who are also interested in the success of devolution. So my opinion is that let us allow Senate to also go through this bill properly so that they can also give us their advisory opinion on whether they are comfortable with the resources that were allocated to counties. Otherwise, in my view, I think that castigating the Senate for performing their role I think is not in order. Then the other issue I'm concerned about, Madam Speaker, is something called equalization fund that is supposed to be given to those counties that are either backward, and there's a process for identifying those counties. My concern is that as we talk, there are around 8 counties that are considered for this equalization fund. While I know that counties like Siaya, counties like Kitui are not in that classification, this is something that I think the Commission on Revenue Allocation needs to look at to ensure that those counties that really deserve those resources are given. Because as we talk, I don't think that only northeastern counties deserve this equalization fund. Most counties, even in Nyanza, deserve this fund. Otherwise, Madam Speaker, thank you for this opportunity, and I support the bill. Thank you.
Honorable members, I can still see Honorable Kuria raising his hand, and he moved a motion on calling the mover to reply, and I want us to put that to put that to rest. And so I'll go on to put the question on whether we have the mover reply or not. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? No. The ayes have it.
Thank you, thank you.
Mover.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. With your indulgence, I want to donate 2 minutes to Honorable Kainan, 2 minutes to Honorable Kimani, 2 minutes to Honorable Jennifer Shamala.
You have members on this side also?
2 minutes to Honorable Chanda and Honorable Jared Okello.
So in that order, Member for Elders?
Yes, in that order.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I know 2 minutes may not be enough, but let me attempt and see what I can do. Madam Speaker, this is a very important bill. Very important bill because in the past, this used to be an exclusive function of the executive. Currently, because of the new constitution, this is an exclusive function of parliamentarians. Madam Speaker, under the able leadership of the Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah, I believe some of the issues that have haunted both houses, because right now it's a reality that we have a bicameral house, we should do whatever it takes to avoid some of the jurisdictional conflict that we have witnessed, in particular between this House, the National Assembly, and the Senate, because it is not in the interest of the taxpayers, it's not in the interest of members of parliament, it's not in the interest of anybody. It only serves the interest of the corrupt and other cartels outside there. And therefore, it's my appeal to the chairman and other members of this committee that we do not want to hear this bill being subjected to a mediation process because it doesn't serve the interest. Madam Speaker, there are certain issues that we must also take into account. A lot of resources have been devolved. Are they being oversighted properly by the Public Accounts Committee of the Senate, by the Public Accounts and Investment Committee of the National Assembly, and other relevant committees, Madam Speaker? Madam Speaker, the issue of equalization fund, and this is something that I know a colleague has also alluded to this. This is something that was born as a result of the current constitution is a negotiated document. Let me put it straight. Actually, it's a constitution of interest. Let me say it. There are some who wanted pure devolution, they got it. There are some who wanted some sort of hybrid presidential system, they got it. There are some who wanted equalization fund, and therefore, the only thing that we're asking the members who are in this particular committee is to move within speed and ensure that all funds allocated to this particular fund from 2010, August 2010, are released to those counties that are meant actually to be covered under this program. And Madam Speaker, because of the 2 minutes, and I'm glad that the chairman is still somewhere, the issue of
constituency, Maria Shoni Ward, that would really benefit from this. And the issue of this money that we give, the 2 billion shillings is going to Youth Polytechnic. If we're going to talk about unemployment, we're not going to talk about unemployment if you're going to insist on white-collar jobs. We need to empower these Elbagon and Molo Polytechnics so that our young people can make shoes that we can wear, they can make suits that you can wear, so that we promote local economy and we also create economy. On the issue of the increased 4% to our counties, and the issue of health as a devolved function, and one of the big 4 agenda, we need to revisit how our counties are managing hospitals. We cannot continue to have people dying in hospitals. For example, in Molo Sub-County Hospital, so many issues are being raised. If these counties are not able to account for this money, let this function be taken back to the national government. And with that, I support the motion. Thank you.
Honorable Ochanda.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thanks, Chair, for this. Very quickly, because of time, I want to talk to the issue of conditional grants. Literally, conditional grants, by its very nature, has been increasing for the last number of years that we've been here, since this was started. It basically indicates that something is not right in certain sectors where we are sending in conditional grants, particularly now the health sector. This, the bill that we are talking about now has 17 billion Kenya shillings that is going to that sector as conditional grant. That indicates that there's a problem, like has been indicated and has been said many times, that there's a problem in the health sector. So the main thing that I wanted to raise in this are 2. One, that route, the route that we take with the conditional grants needs to be rechecked again. Just like we are taking the whole issue of conditional grants to the village polytechnics. I remember sometimes in 2013, 2014, that some functions are seen that are being done by the national government at the counties for purposes of educating the others, that these functions can be reversed in one way or the other. Thanks, Madam Speaker.
Who was the other member? Honorable Shamala.
Thank you,
We'll
Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to support. Indeed, it's an important aspect for the development of this nation. I have also noted that over 4.7 billion Kenya shillings has been allocated to the Equalization Fund. It is with deep concern I heard it being said in this House that the Constitution is a negotiated document and the Equalization Fund was negotiated for certain communities. Nothing can be further from the truth. This Constitution was negotiated for all Kenyans. And as I stand up, I express my concern for counties like Kakamega, where 56% of the people, of the population, live below the poverty line and have never actually benefited from the Equalization Fund. It is my humble submission that indeed the Commission on Revenue Allocation do begin to indeed check, study the kind of parameters that they are using and to understand deeply how it is that we're going to begin to divide the monies that are in this Equalization Fund. Clearly, for a county like Kakamega, which indeed doesn't suffer from drought, there must be issues like infrastructure value chains that are not properly put in place. And indeed, we need to improve the quality of services in a county like Kakamega, but not only Kakamega, even as close to Nairobi. You go to counties that surround Nairobi and you will see that indeed there's thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people who live below the poverty line. Madam Speaker, with those few remarks, I support.
Is it Honorable Omolo? Okello, yeah.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank Chair for giving me 2 minutes to delve into this issue. Madam Speaker, Article 218 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 that talks about revenue allocation between national government and county government talk about provision for additional resources to facilitate proper functioning of county governments to ensure ongoing services are provided for. When it talks about additional funding, Madam Speaker, yes, the law did not cap the monies to counties at 15%. It gave that as an irreducible minimum. And therefore, additional funding that touch on the life and welfare of our people must be considered even in this particular bill that we are talking about today. We understand that it takes a lot of time for disbursements, a lot of delays, that therefore have the potential to delay services being carried out in counties. We understand the stringent procurement procedures in line with Public Procurement and Disposal Act, and therefore it is my humble plea that we may have the liaison between the Council of Governors, the Senate, together with the Treasury, so that this kind of delays that hence affect our recurrent functions and recurrent expenditures can be avoided. Well,
order members. Order members.
Well, they're eating into my time, Madam
Order
Speaker.
members who are at near the exit, please take your seats and consult in an acceptable manner.
Well, Madam Speaker, I hope I'll get additional 1 minute. Well, the law is clear that you do not overtax the current generation for the comfort of the next generation. And on the flip side, therefore, you cannot overborrow in this current generation to overburden the generation to come. So I think even as we engage on matters borrowing, we must also understand that we only borrow for specific functions that will accrue and generate better benefits for this country. Finally, I heard about building bridges. It must be done on utmost good faith, and all the underlying issues must be thrashed out. Finally, Madam Speaker, my constituency is heavily affected by floods, but still not categorized as a hardship zone. It will be my humble plea that even though it sits right at the center of Muhoroni and Nyakach constituencies, and both the constituencies have access to hardship allowances, I am actually losing public servants to those two constituencies. Just this year alone, I have lost 19 teachers going to other constituencies that have access to hardship allowance. And therefore, I ask you very humbly, Madam Speaker, to make a pronouncement that Nyando constituencies and weight by this benefiting constituencies will also be categorized as a hardship zone and therefore be considered for hardship allowance. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Ishungwa, I think your donations are...
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I am under intense pressure to donate 2 minutes to Honorable Rindikiri Mugambi, member for Buri, and Honorable Moroto. Honorable Moroto first, then Honorable Mugambi Rindikiri.
Honorable Moroto? He doesn't seem to be ready, so maybe Honorable Mugambi can go first. Honorable Moroto?
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and also the chair for giving me just this one minute here. I want to congratulate and thank the members who contributed for this important item here this evening. We've seen, and we are, Madam Speaker, we need to be very careful. Whatever we pass here, there should be an oversight or a follow-up so that we can know whether the money given out to these people is used well or it is messed up. Because I am a member of Kapenguria constituency, and I have a level 5, which is Kapenguria Hospital. And it also has a training college within that place. But Madam Speaker, people are suffering. But if you check the records from the past years up to now, there's a lot of money given to those areas, to that institution. And people are dying day and night. So personally, I want to agree with the members, because I followed when members were contributing, that we need to be more serious at this hour so that we make use of this money given to these people properly. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Member for Bori.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Let me first of all say I was becoming a bit agitated because I was the first in the chambers, and my attempt to ask for an opportunity to speak fell in the deep air. But let me support this motion. Let me say that the committee has done a good job in its attempt to bring this bill. I'm aware that there are many issues that the members have raised. My concern is just like the concern that has been raised by other members, including the way the money is being utilized at the counties. Madam Speaker, I can't agree more than what everybody has expressed. I think the time has come that our responsibility is to pass the bills, but also we have a moral responsibility to our constituents that this money is spent to go into details to assess the areas that need to be benefiting from the equalization fund. My constituency borders Isiolo, my constituency borders Laikipia, and they are enjoying the facility of equalization. There is no reason as to why Bori constituency should not benefit from that. So I support the motion, and when the bill comes up, we'll make the necessary amendment. Thank you.
Mover, Honorable Ishungwa.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Mine is just to thank the honorable members for their very valuable, invaluable contributions to this bill. And I am sure even the Senate has been listening to these contributions, those in the Council of Governors, and even our MCAs in the counties, to ensure that even the money that goes to the county governments goes into good use for the benefit of the people. And it's noteworthy, Madam Speaker, to note the issues that are of concern to members on issues to do with conditional grants, the money from the fuel levy that is going to roads, MCAs to make sure that this money is not put into any other use other than to repair roads in our constituencies. Because as the minority leader says, there are many roads that members of parliament are being blamed for not maintaining them, but these are roads under county governments. The roads bill now has been passed by this House, and therefore it is well known which roads are classified under which government. And with those many remarks, Madam Speaker, I beg to move.
Order, members. Honorable members, with confirmation that we have the requisite quorum, I shall proceed to put the question that the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bill number 7 of 2018, be now read a second time. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
A bill for an act of parliament to provide for the equitable division of revenue raised nationally between the national and county governments in the 2018-2019 financial year and for connected purposes. Order number 10, Committee of the Whole House.
Take your seats. Members, we are considering the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bill number 7 of 2018.
Clauses 3, 4, and 5.
Honorable members, I propose the question that clauses 3, 4, and 5 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion? I now put the question that clause 3, 4, and 5 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say yes? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Schedule.
Honorable members, I propose the question that the schedule be part of the bill. I now put the question that the schedule be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 2.
Honorable members, I propose that clause 2 of the bill be part of the bill. And I now put the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Title.
I propose the question that the title be part of the bill. And I go on to put the question that the title be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 1.
I go on to propose the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. And I go on to put the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Mover?
I put the question. Honorable Speaker. Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bill number 7 of 2018, and its approval thereof without amendments.
Honorable members, I put the question, which is that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bill number 7 of 2018, and its approval thereof without amendments. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Committee has ended. Chairperson. Chairperson.
Honourable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly number 7 of 2018 and approved the same without amendments.
Mover.
Honourable Speaker, I beg to move that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. I also request Honourable for Gishugu, Honourable Gishimo, to second the motion for agreement with the report of the Committee of the Whole House.
Order, members. Order, member for Honorable Kasalu. Order, members. I go on to propose a question, which is that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. Should I go on to put the question? Honorable members, I go on to put the question, which is that this House do agree with the committee in the said report. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Mover.
Honourable Speaker, I beg to move the Division of Revenue Bill 2018, National Assembly Bill number 7 of 2018 be now read a third time, and I also request Honourable Millie Odhiambo to second.
Madam Speaker, I second.
Order, members. Order, honorable members. Honorable members, I propose the question, which is that the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bill number 7 of 2018, be now read at that time. Honorable members, we can allow a few people to ventilate on this. Honorable Millie Odhiambo.
Assembly and the Senate will also do the same. Thank you, Madam.
Honorable members, you will note that at this stage, we don't have allowance for extensive debate like we had in the second reading. So you will minimize your contributions. Honorable Majority Whip.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to use this opportunity to congratulate the committee for the work done and the rest of the House for passing this Division of Revenue Bill 2018. Madam Speaker, there were very notable issues that were raised by this bill, especially when they raised the county allocation from 34.6 of the financial year 2017-2018 to a whopping 39.8%, which is over and above the constitution's rate of 15%. Madam Speaker, we are hoping that the expected census that will be taking place soon will be done in a manner to properly indicate and bring out the population as it is. Because, Madam Speaker, Kakamega County, where I come from, is the most populous county out of Nairobi, and we expected that the money shared out of population, which is 45%, is we see the difference in Kakamega because in most cases you have seen that money being shared almost equally with the other counties. Madam Speaker, just to finalize, as a government we have the four pillars. And one of the main pillars which has interested us most, especially those of us from Western, is the one for value addition, the manufacturing. And with that, we are expecting that the government will support us, especially the revival of the sugar sector, which is domiciled in the western region, that is Nyanza and the western, so that we can appreciate this pillar that is meant for value addition and manufacturing. Otherwise, Madam Speaker, I want to thank again the committee. Madam Speaker, this is a special committee, and that's why it has a membership of 27 members. If you compared it with the other committees that are oversighting the other departments, you'll find that there are 19 per member, but this one is a very special committee. That's why they have a membership of 27, and I'm happy that they have done a good job, and we are expecting the best when they move to the second stage. Otherwise, Madam Speaker, I wish to support. Thank you.
Member for Naivasha.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I may not have a lot to say. It's just thank members for the committee for a job well done, and also support what has been said by many members about strengthening the Senate. We realize there's a lot of money going on the ground. I know at some stage they were supposed to be county boards. I do not know what happened to them, because the money that is not being put to use is the money that's going to county governments. Otherwise, what we have in CDF, much as it is skewed in a way that I have never been able to understand, because some of the constituencies like Naivasha, they're so big with very many people, I don't know what happened there. But all said and done, I'm happy of the job that has been done by the committee. Asante sana.
Honorable Mbalu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving the opportunity to add my voice on this. First, I congratulate the Budget Committee in coming with the bill. And as a member of the Public Accounts Committee, I want to promise the House that the next revenue allocation, we will ensure that we use the most recent audited accounts as presented to the House. And so we are working hard to ensure that all the accounts that will come to Parliament will pass through our committee and ensure that we use the most recent audited accounts as will be presented to the Parliament.
Very well. I think we shall leave it at that. And honorable members, for obvious reasons, we shall not put the question on this one. We shall defer it until the next sitting of the House. So we can move to the next order.
Order number 11, the Nairobi Metropolitan Area.
From Article 189, subsection 2. The process, Madam Speaker, of establishing the authority began long time ago, before this government came into place for the second time. But in last government, on the month of October 21st of October 2014, when an MOU was signed between the government of the 5 Nairobi metropolitan area counties, and these counties are Nairobi, Kajiado, Machakos, Murang'a, and Kiambu on one hand, and the Cabinet Secretary for Transport and Infrastructure on the other hand, Madam Speaker. And this paved the way for the establishment of the Nairobi Metropolitan Area Transport Authority Steering Committee through Gazette Notice number 1093 of 2nd February 2015. And this committee, Madam Speaker, drew its membership from both the counties involved, and the national government. And the same committee developed a bill with the assistance of the Secretariat. And that bill went through all the stakeholders in the 5 counties, and then went to Cabinet. The Cabinet approved it, and onward transmission to the legislature which made us publish this bill. And the purpose of this bill, Madam Speaker, is to establish Nairobi Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, in short called NAMETA, whose main objective, what is the objective of this authority, is to oversee the establishment of an integrated, efficient, effective, and sustainable public transport system within the Nairobi metropolitan area. Madam Speaker, Nairobi is a serious economic and investor hub. Nairobi has what it takes. It has the best financial services. Nairobi now has all the infrastructure needed as a city in Africa and in East Africa, whose transport system must be up to date, must be efficient, must be effective, and must be sustainable. But you have seen what we go through. Madam Speaker, our friends the Ethiopians have done better. You have serious, transport systems in the city of Addis Ababa, metro trains. But, and now they have built a passenger train from the city of Djibouti to Addis Ababa, over 700 kilometers. So this bill basically wants to create that public transport system within the Nairobi metropolitan area that is integrated, that is fast, that's effective and efficient, and that is sustainable in the long run. So let me go through the highlights of this bill, Madam Speaker. Clause 5 of the bill, Madam Speaker, states that the headquarters of the authority shall be in Nairobi City. Clause 6 provides for the function of the authority. What are the daily functions of this authority? And these include the development of an integrated mass rapid transport system, the development of a bus rapid transit system, which shall be a priority. So even within the city and within the metropolitan city of all these 5 counties, the bus, there must be a development of a bus rapid transit system. The authority will have, Madam Speaker, the function to handle the implementation of a comprehensive traffic management plan. Even our traffic flow in the city and within the neighboring counties is not organized. So this authority will come up with a comprehensive traffic management plan. They will have the powers to regulate and enter into agreements with the operators and service providers within the transport system. This authority, Madam Speaker, will also have the powers and the function to regulate the parking of transport facility on specific declared corridors, among many other functions that this authority will have. Clause 7, Madam Speaker, of the bill provides for the powers of this authority. What are the powers? They have the powers which include entering into agreement or partnership with other institutions, with other bodies, for the purpose of carrying out its mandate. So this Metropolitan Transport Authority has a function under law, under the proposed law, to enter into partnership with other bodies. They have the powers to protect, maintain, improve all declared public transport corridors. So the free flow of corridors, transport corridors, the efficient flow, the sustainable flow of traffic within those declared public transport corridors is a powers given to this authority. They will be being given under this proposed law the powers to charge levies on the users of this transport system. They have the powers to establish companies for the purpose of carrying out its functions, among other. Clause 8, Madam Speaker, talks about the establishment of Nairobi Metropolitan Area Council. And this council, which shall be the apex body, shall consist of the governor of Nairobi City County, the governor of Machakos, the governor of Kajiado, the governor of Kiambu, the governor of Murang'a, the cabinet secretary for transport, and the cabinet secretary for the National Treasury. Clause 9, Madam Speaker, talks about the function of the council, the apex body. What is their function? And it includes, among others, declaring by gazette notice the specific Namata transport corridors. So the powers to gazette is with the council. Clause 10, Madam Speaker, establishes the board of the authority, which shall consist of the chairperson, the principal secretary responsible for transport, the one responsible for roads, the one responsible for finance, county executive committee responsible for transport in each of the 5 counties, and 3 independent persons with the knowledge and experience in specific areas of expertise. Madam Speaker, there was a time when there was an outcry in the country because the minister appointed 3 persons. I am told he's supposed to appoint 3 independent persons with the knowledge and experience in specific areas of expertise. Those 3 persons happen to come from one region and from one community. I really want to urge the minister, in the good spirit of the famous handshake of last Friday, that sets the ball rolling for inclusivity, to redo that, those 3 members. If they come from Murang'a, you should have put one from Kiambu and one from Garissa, or one from Kiambu and one from Mombasa, or one from Meru, or one from Machakos and Kitui, you know. I saw it in the social media. I think it didn't look very good that 3 independent persons of the DG, how long? How long? 6 years, 5 years? Is it renewable? Clause 29 provides for the licensing of the public transport operators, how they should be licensed, what kind of application they're supposed to fill. They must be given a certificate of operators. All must be issued to an operator who wishes to provide service within the metropolitan area. Madam Speaker, this piece of legislation is good. This authority is very good. This will set the ball rolling that we must manage our traffic system. Even our many owners of various matatus and buses that play in these 5 counties, they can bring their resources together and form a partnership with a company, maybe internationally, that is known for managing this kind of a transport system. And they still own 50–60% of that. But at the end of the day, the transport system in our country is improved. Madam Speaker, Clause 32 provides for the funds of the authority, which shall comprise of the monies that they will be allocated to them by Parliament for the purpose of the authority, the metropolitan county exchequers, and such monies and assets that may accrue to the authority in the course of the exercise of its powers and its performance. Madam Chair, Clause 39 talks about annual financial reports, how they are supposed to, their obligation to the Auditor General and to Parliament. 41 provides for the establishment of a museum. 42 provides for the declaration of a transport corridors by the Council. 43 provides for dispute resolution in case the authority has a conflict in its functions with another. And Madam Speaker, the first schedule of this bill sets out the procedure for the appointment of the chairperson and members of the board. The second schedule on the bill contains provisions as to the conduct of business and affairs of the authority. And finally, the third schedule contains the oath and the affirmation to be taken by the chairperson and the members and the Director General of the authority. In conclusion, Madam Speaker, it is important to note that to forestall any conflict with other government agencies during the implementation of this law, if passed by Parliament, it is imperative and necessary to have what we call consequential amendments accompanying it, because the Ministry of Transport, Infrastructure, Housing, and Urban Development has drafted consequential amendments which are currently being subjected to stakeholder consideration and consultation, and they will be presented to Parliament in due course. With those many remarks, Madam Speaker, I'm here to see the Chair of Transport, a man I respect a lot. We have agreed with him at 1 o'clock that he...
Those of us who live in the metropolis area, that is Nairobi and the underlying neighboring counties or districts of Kajiado, Kiambu, where I come from, Machakos, and Murang'a. Madam Speaker, the establishment of this authority as a body corporate speaks volumes of the intention of government to indeed have an authority that is a body corporate with the powers to sue and be sued, to be able to implement policies that will govern the transport area in the metropolitan area. And Madam Speaker, anybody who lives in this city, and especially this morning, the experience we had, myself, I got late by about 20 minutes to chair the meeting on budget and appropriations committee because of the gridlock that was there this morning. Out of a simple 40 minutes to 1.5 hours period of rain. And it created such a gridlock in this town that nobody was being able to move early morning. And therefore, Madam Speaker, when you talk about managing transport in the metropolitan area, we're not just looking at the CBD. And we are opening up this management to the districts or the counties surrounding our capital city. And that will go a long way to resolving many of the problems that afflict this city, the city of Nairobi, in terms of traffic management. This authority is being given powers under this bill to even be able to regulate, license, and manage public service transport operators. That now they will be given licenses to operate for 5 years. And you have designated routes where to operate from. Therefore, the chaos that we have seen with the matatu industry in the past will be a thing of the past once this authority comes to be. Madam Speaker, transport is one of the issues, if well managed in this capital city and the outlying districts or counties, Madam Speaker, would not just help to ease the congestion that is there in Nairobi and the proliferation of slum areas, but will open up even new cities in those outlying districts. Think of the Konza city in Machakos, which is just a few kilometers from here. But for you to be able to commute from Westlands through CBD to Konza, it will probably take you more time than you would move from Westlands to Eldoret. And in fact, it happens. At one point, Madam Speaker, I had a meeting on Mombasa Road, near Mlolongo, and from Westlands. And a person who was going to Nyeri got to Nyeri and started their meeting before I even got to the airport. Not Mlolongo even, before the junction to the airport because of the traffic gridlock. Therefore, when we have an authority, a transport authority that helps to manage these issues, Madam Speaker, it also speaks to the question that we had in this House on the session of paper on housing, that we are looking at an opportunity where this government has committed to build 500,000 houses in the next 5 years. But the question is, we cannot have all those houses in Nairobi. We must look at opportunities to be able to build part of those houses in Nachu, in Kikuyu, some in Mavoko, Mlolongo, others in Murang'a, and others in Kajiado, Isinya, and all those outlying areas. But for people to be able to go and live in those far-flung areas, For me to be able to commute from Isinya to and attend Parliament by 9:30 on a Wednesday morning, there must be a very good transport, public transport system. And therefore, this Namata bill is not just speaking to the question of urban transportation within the metropolis. It is also creating an effective and efficient means of interconnecting our cities and our small towns around the capital city. And therefore, even allowing Kenyans to be able to buy property and buy housing in outlying districts so that we all don't just cram within the city and create slum areas. You can imagine, Madam Speaker, a number of people who live in Mathare, others who live in Kibra, Korogosho, and other slum areas. Many of them are people who could afford housing that will be built under this new housing scheme at the cost of 600,000 shillings for what is called a studio, or a one-bedroom unit that will be sold for maybe even $1 million shillings, or a two-bedroom unit going for 2 million shillings, and you pay it over 20 years. There are people who will be able to afford that, but today can only live in a slum area because that is where they'll be able to afford the rent that is charged for housing in Nairobi. Therefore, we'll be helping a lot of people with the enactment of this Namata bill and also creating order. This bill is also about creating order in the transport system, Madam Speaker, within the metropolitan area. And with that, Madam Speaker, you notice in the bill, they're also creating a council whose inter alia will have a core mandate of developing a policy and set goals for the metropolitan area and to determine the financial contribution of each county to the funds of the authority. Because the bill creates a framework where it is not just money being appropriated from the national government by this National Assembly, but also the county assemblies and the county governments in these outlying districts of Machakos, Kiambu, Murang'a, and Kiambu will be able to also contribute to this fund that will enable us to create a seamless and efficient transport system. I note the chair of the Transport Committee has walked in, but I am happy to be doing what he should have been doing now. Therefore, Madam Speaker, I was saying, other than the questions of just management of the transport system, we're also looking at the development of what are called freeways. There's a freeway now that are coming from Mombasa all the way through this city, through Machakos, through Kajiado, through Kiambu County, all the way to Nakuru County, Naivasha, that is being done by an American company. How you interconnect that with urban transportation, Madam Speaker, such that anybody living in Emali or Mutito Andei can get to this capital city through that highway and probably exit at Mavoko or Mlolongo and come to the CBD through a bus, what are they called? BRTs. Yeah, the mass transport system with the high capacity buses. When you're able to build those things, Madam Speaker, again, a farmer who is farming in Mutito Andei or in the far-flung areas of Ukambani will be able to bring their produce to markets in Nairobi within a very short time. People from Western Kenya, Madam Speaker, and I've seen proposals from the Kenya National Highways Authority. If we're able to get about 30 acres of land around Kikuyu, around the areas of Sigona, Getaru, we get a 30-acre terminus where we can terminate all public transport and even private transport for somebody who is driven all the way from Kakamega. You do not need to come and struggle to fight for parking space within the CBD. You park in Kikuyu, where we will have a seamless connectivity to the CBD through the BRT system. We have a seamless connection through the light rail system that, like happens in all other developed countries, and a few of the developing countries in Africa, like South Africa, you do not necessarily have to drive into the CBD for you to come and work in CBD. You'll be able to take a mass transport system through the buses, the mass commuter buses, which within, from Kikuyu to Nairobi, will take you about 10 minutes, since it is using a dedicated lane, a bus lane, in between the two highways. And I do hope that the Ministry of Transport and the chair is here to ensure that with the expansion of Wayakiwe all the way to Rironi and the construction of the overpass from Wayakiwe, from ABC Place all the way to the airport, we are able to provide for a meaningful bus corridor where we'll be able then to move people en masse to the CBD. Therefore, Madam Speaker, since I can see I'm short of time, this bill will be able to facilitate not just that efficient system of public transportation within the metropolis, but also make housing cheap for Kenyans who are living within the CBD or within Nairobi that can move out to other areas in the outlying districts at affordable rates. And with those few or many remarks, Madam Speaker, I beg to second this bill. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Very well. You beg to second. Honorable Member, you cannot do a point of order before it is already proposed. Order members, having the bill been moved and seconded procedurally, I therefore propose the question, which is that the Nairobi Metropolitan Area Transport Authority Bill, National Assembly Bill number 41 of 2017, be read a second time. Yes, the Honorable Tom Oleoch, now you can raise your point of order. But procedurally, you must allow the bill or any business in the House to be owned by the House after being proposed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And this being my first time in Parliament, I may be pardoned. I will look through the standing orders with a tooth comb. Madam Speaker, being a member of Parliament from Mathare constituency in Nairobi, this is a bill that ordinarily would interest me, would interest a lot of Nairobi residents, and as a matter of fact, members of Parliament of Nairobi recently agreed that they would caucus to try and find out the import of this bill and its implication. However, Madam Speaker, this is a house of record. This is a house whose duties are guided by the dictates of the Constitution, the statute law, as well as its standing orders. And so, Madam Speaker, it is for this reason that I rise on standing order number 83. Standing order number 83, Madam Speaker, where the Speaker shall either give a decision or a point of order forthwith or announce that the decision be deferred for consideration after the member who was speaking at the time at the point of order was raised may continue to speak. Madam Speaker, I am also raising this pursuant to Standing Order number 89. Standing Order number 89 is the standing order that deals with the sub judice rule, Madam Speaker, and these houses are the benefit of a number of rulings from which this House will be guided with. Madam Speaker, the subject matter of this bill is the establishment of the Nairobi Metropolitan Area Transport Authority. Madam Speaker, I have in my possession and cognizance of Standing Order number 89-4, where a member who alleges that a matter is sub judice and pending before court shall produce the evidence. Madam Speaker, yesterday, the 14th of March, 2018, a Kenyan citizen by the name Wanjiru Gikonyo filed a petition number 94 of 2018. It was filed, and I have authoritatively established that this particular matter is now seized before a court of law and as a hearing date on the 20th of March 2018. Madam Speaker, the subject matter of this petition is precisely the establishment of the authority under this bill. The petitioners in this matter question the manner in which the agreement leading into the establishment of the Metropolitan, the authority under the proposed Section 4, was arrived at. And Madam Speaker, because this matter may be determined in a manner that touches on this bill, it is important that I ask that, Madam Speaker, a ruling be given pursuant to
that there was full consultation and there was public participation in this. I am the Member of Parliament for Kiambu, which is directly affected by this. Nobody has consulted me. Nobody has asked for any opinion. I've talked to even other members of parliament, including members from Nairobi, who have not have been consulted about this. This is a very good idea. This is this is an action that is going to change the way life will be in Nairobi and even in the metropolitan area. But we need proper consultation. We need proper participation by public so that they are able to give their views and their opinions. I'm foreseeing a place, I'm foreseeing a situation where it will rain like it has done today. And then all that has been done can even go before it has, because it has not been done properly,
Okay.
Madam Speaker.
No,
So
no.
I believe proper public participation, including participation by members of parliament and the MCAs should be
Thank you,
included.
Honorable Member for Kembe. Are you insinuating that the chair should confirm whether there was public participation? Or is out of order that he said that there was public participation? Maybe the Honorable Chairperson, maybe as you contribute, it's important, maybe you can address the issue that has been raised by the Honorable Member for Kembe.
Madam Chair, yes, I will confirm. I was giving facts, and it's good for honorable members also to appreciate. I'm giving facts which have been tabled, and I'm giving laws which are gazetted, and these members were also accessible, or they would have accessed. But Madam Speaker, let me just finish, because I will finish something small there, and then I'll come to my colleague, Honorable Jomo, his request for public participation. But Madam Speaker, as I was building this case, that there was a lot of work that was done between the both levels of government, Madam Speaker, so that it is very clear to the House how did this bill, how did this matter came into being, came into life, from where. And that's why Madam Speaker was building legally, how it came, so that it is properly understood. And if you allow me, Madam Speaker, as you have allowed me, you find that I want to call honorable members to read that cassette notice number 1093, which is in our report, Madam Speaker, which is actually formed out the committee that brought together members from all the 5 counties. They went around all the 5 counties. Honorable Jomo and other honorable members might not have participated or might not have gone when they were doing those public participation there, but they have also opportunity, Madam Speaker, to make contribution here. Either way, because this is their property, Madam Speaker, it's not my property. It went on after they came up with the proposal, Madam Speaker, of this matter. And what I'm saying, the 5 counties. And then they moved to make it now properly.
Honorable Chairman, I heard you all the members. Yeah, you can just have your seat first. Honorable members, it is important, even as we debate, sometimes we must have copies of these reports. And from where I sit, I've looked at the reports, and from your page 10, Honorable Jude Jomo, there are the public participations. I can see submissions from Mr. Gitonga Kelvin Rido. Let me protect the chair now. And submission will come to another part. And I'm sure the chairman also listened to you. But it is important for us to report to the public. It's a house of answer. This is a house of rules and procedure that in the report, there is public participation. It may not have satisfied you, but yes, Chairman.
Madam Speaker, this is the greatest wisdom I've ever had since I was born from you, Madam Speaker. This is the best. And I thank you, Madam Speaker, for leading the House within the law. And I want to plead with honorable members to read the report as well, also, as you have said, Madam Speaker. If you look at the report, there is, people know how bills are done. When it was committed to a committee, Madam Speaker, from where you sit, then we advertised for public participation. It is provided for in law, how we make laws. And I want to ask honorable members to look at the newspaper, which advertised for public participation, gave enough time for people to make contributions. And even honorable members from this House, from those counties, were not blocked, Madam Speaker, to make submissions. Because at that level, they are considered as members of the public. They would have also made the request, Madam Speaker, which I am making here. Then we would have even invited all of them, all the MCAs, to come. Then we listen to this. But it was outside there, Madam Speaker. What would have we done? And yet we had given them the opportunity provided for by law. And it was there. And people made submissions. If you look at my report in the annexures, Madam Speaker, annexures 1. First annexures, Madam Speaker. It contains memoranda from the public. And in this public, Madam Speaker, the memoranda which is there came from 5 counties that form the Nairobi metropolitan area, Madam Speaker. And they appeared before our committee physically. They came orally, and every county was represented, Madam Speaker. And the person who brought the views is none other than the governor of Kiambu, on behalf of all other honorable governors. They came with their views, Madam Speaker, and we got them, we listened to them, Madam Speaker. The ministry also came, and not only ministry, members of the ministry came, Madam Speaker, and presented their views to the committee. And in fact, they really agreed, particularly members from the 5 counties, Madam Speaker. They agreed with the proposal. They had only concern, their concern were only 2, Madam Speaker, for the record of the House, in terms of those 5 counties. They had a problem, they are saying, the chair of Namata, who in this bill has been proposed to be the CS for transport, should be co-chaired. That was their concern, Madam Speaker, and it's captured. It is in record. So they proposed, that is 5 counties, Madam Speaker, and said they want an amendment in the bill. They agreed with most of them. They had only 3 issues. One of the issues is, let us have the chair of Namata to be co-chaired by one governor and then the CS transport. They were represented by governors. And we argued with them. We listened to them. The committee, when it retreated, the committee agreed and said, we better have one leadership. If you have 2 people co-chairing, it might be very difficult to drive the agenda forward. We agreed as a committee, which we have proposed, and we will bring it at the Committee of the Whole House in terms of amendment, Madam Speaker. We agreed and said, let the CS for transport continue chairing the Namata, but the vice chair should come from the governors of the 5 counties on rotational basis, so that for 1 year. So if it's the governor for Kiambu being the vice chair of the Namata, then in the next one, it will be another governor. Madam Speaker, also they raised the issue of consultation, that they wanted to be consulted at every level of implementation by the committee or by the authority. That is the governor's speaker raising. We also declined that in the bill, because we are saying, if the governors are saying that we need consultation from the authority, then who is the authority? The authority is, or who, the membership of authority, Madam Speaker, is all CECs of counties, the 5 counties. 1 CEC in charge of roads from all the 5 counties are forming the authority, 5 CECs of the county. And then the permanent secretary responsible for transport and treasury. So when the governors, who is the council, are saying we want to be consulted, we decline that to be put in the bill, because who are you consulting if it is your CEC who is sitting and who is actually running the show in terms of the authority? And that's why it was good for honorable member to listen and say it's not in conflict of any county. Why? Because it is run by members of the county. It's not anybody else from outside, Madam Speaker. And that is why it is captured here in record in our report. Their views, and I've also given, Madam Speaker, the people who appeared before us eventually. If you see at the list of the people who came to the committee, it is from every county. Public participation. And members are also encouraged, Madam Speaker, during the public participation period, which is given to the public, honorable members who have issues, because this committee is yours. I am the chair of the committee, Madam Speaker, but I am there on the blessing of the House, of the members. It is their committee. Then they needed to have come, even from all membership from Kiambu, for example, Madam Speaker, as honorable members, they needed to have come to their committee. This is their committee, and made contributions. But however, Madam Speaker, because of the laws, we listen to them. We also listen to the ministry, Madam Speaker. And the ministry basically gave us the legal basis of coming with Namata. And we have attached, Madam Speaker, in our next year too, all those documentations. And it was done properly within the law. Article 189, sub-article 2 of the Constitution, Madam Speaker, they did it as per the law. We also had one person, a good friend of ours, who came to the committee and also made presentation, and we listened to his memoranda. He suggested that the CS for planning should have been part of the Namata, but we declined, Madam Speaker, because we thought that planning is basically in lands, and lands and physical planning is in lands, and maybe we thought that CS transport is in charge of urban planning, because if you go to Kura, you'll get all these urban planners, Madam Speaker, and that is how we consider this bill, Madam Speaker. But more important, this bill, Madam Speaker, for members, apart from giving administration of how to run transport within the metropolitan, it creates 2 institutions. Very important, Madam Speaker, for members and the people of Kenya to understand. It creates what we call a council, which is the one that is calling the show, which is the very important one. And this council, Madam Speaker, has been provided for under Clause 8. And it's good for answered, Madam Speaker, for me to tell the House and the people of Kenya. This council basically is made up of 5 governors. That is the council. And that is the one that is calling the shots. So that people should know it is not anything that is, or like national government or National Assembly is taking power from the counties. It is not. Because look at Clause 8. And I'll read for Madam Speaker quickly for the House and for the people of Kenya, so that there's no confusion that national government is taking power from counties. Who are these? The council shall consist of the following: the cabinet secretary, responsible for transport; the cabinet secretary responsible for national treasury; the governor of Nairobi City County; the governor of Kiambu County; the governor of Machakos County; the governor of Kajiado County; the governor of Murang'a County. That is the council, Madam Speaker, with the chairperson of the authority, because at the higher level, it is the council. And then the council populates the authority. The authority now is the one doing the day-to-day activities of the Namata, Madam Speaker. So if you look at that, it's purely county, purely county. There are only 2 people from national government, and it is important for them, because you need resources, Madam Speaker, to move even in the counties. So it's purely county. Very important institution for Namata, for the House and the people of Kenya to understand, so that this propaganda, Madam Speaker, people running to court, for example, they have their right, but that idea of saying maybe, oh, you know, the power of counties, transport is a function of the county. If you go to 4th Schedule, Madam Speaker, transport is also part of national government. We can almost say it's a shared function. So how do you run a shared function? You go to Article 189.2. That is what guides you in terms of running a shared function, therefore. Which is what? Which is that you are allowed to cooperate. You can also cooperate, you can also form institutions. And that's why Namata, Madam Speaker, is formed. So how is it undermining, for example, counties? It doesn't undermine counties, Madam Speaker. In fact, it's enriching it. So what happens? What does the council do? The council, Madam Speaker, establishes what we call the Namata Authority. So who are these Namata Authority? For the benefit of the people of Kenya again, so that they don't think that national government is coming to run or micromanage counties. No, it's not micromanaging counties, Madam Speaker. If you go Clause 10, it is giving you who are the members of this authority, which is now, Madam Speaker, doing the day-to-day activities or running of the Namata. Who are these? Principal Secretary, or the chairperson of the board, who will be appointed by the president. And then the Principal Secretary responsible for transport, Principal Secretary responsible for roads, the Principal Secretary responsible for National Treasury, and then the County Executive Committee member responsible for transport on each of the 5 counties making the Nairobi Metropolitan, Madam Speaker. If you take those 3 permanent secretaries and 5 CECs, you see where the balance is, Madam Speaker. It is in the counties. Automatically, the balance is in the counties. This is actually theirs. They only require facilitation from national government. There is no way, Madam Speaker, I will tell the people of Kenya, there is no way we'll run from national government. National government is ours. We are not a federal system. We are a unitary system. We require the mother, and that is why Treasury is there, Madam Speaker, to be able to help this. And that is why it is county, purely it is county. So those are the people, Madam Speaker, who are populating the authority, which is now going to run the day-to-day activities of the board in terms of how this transport is going to be managed at that level, Madam Speaker. That is why it is so clear, Madam Speaker, that it is within the law. It is so clear, Madam Speaker, it is county-based. And even if you come at the council, who is at the council? The 5 governors and 2 CSS. Where is the balance? The balance is tilting again to the counties. Basically, it is so good idea, Madam Speaker, and it will be upon honorable members to discuss it and debate it either way, Madam Speaker. Otherwise, I will say, Madam Speaker, everything was done within the law. Our committee listened everybody. We are also ready to listen honorable members, Madam Speaker, and I want to help them. I want to remember, nothing is lost. This bill is still at the debate. If there are amendments, Madam Speaker, they are welcome at the committee of the whole House, the 3rd reading. So I'm urging Honorable Jomo, who is a good friend of mine, and I really trust him, and I respect him because there are some things we did together which will be historic in this country, Madam Speaker. I will say this maybe during Kamukunji, I will not say here, Madam Speaker, but
I hope that it's on a light note. There are things you do together which will be...
Oh, sorry. Of course, it will not be cows, Madam Speaker, because Jomo has no cow. You know, he has only, I don't want to say what he has, but he has waru in quotes, Madam Speaker. But what I was going to say, Madam Speaker, here is that the baby is still with us. Honorable Jomo, nothing has been lost. We can meet, it's still at the debate level. If you think, Madam Speaker, through you, if Honorable Joma and others of the same like-minded, like Honorable from Nairobi here, if they think that there are serious issues which have not been addressed in this Namata bill, Madam Speaker, they are free to propose. Come to us as committee, we are still here. This is committee of the House, it's not my committee, it is theirs, Madam Speaker. They are free to come to us, we can discuss, and then we can now even expand the proposal, even the proposal of the committee on the, at the third reading, we can even expand the amendments which you had proposed, Madam Speaker. And we move our country forward. I want to encourage them and plead them, Madam Speaker, to support this bill. And in conclusion, Madam Speaker, after making those, and I thank you for giving me this opportunity to clarify, in conclusion, I want to thank my committee, Madam Speaker. This is one of the best committees and very cohesive. I also thank Honorable Ichung'wa, who held brief for me. This is really a very good spirit in Parliament, that when chairs are held up somewhere for an important function, which I was also doing, Madam Speaker, for the country, that somebody can help somebody. I thank him, and I also thank honorable members, but they are welcome to make contribution. I am willing, the committees of the House, we are still in the debate. Let us not kill the baby, Madam Speaker, when we are almost giving birth. And this country is so fond of killing things which are very good. I want to urge honorable members, let us accept this Namata bill and a Namata authority, Madam Speaker. Let us
to achieve this when we are slowing down the process. Thank you very much, the NASA, for joining Jubilee. This is what we intended to do, and we are moving forward with our mission, and this is one of the things that we want to do so that we can enhance business and traveling for the comfort of our citizens. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, honorable members. Honorable members, let us be relevant now to our debate so that we can have a very constructive debate. The Honorable Jos Mosi, the member for Kitutu Masaba, and you're a member of the committee?
Yes. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me a chance to also contribute to this extremely noble bill that is before the House. As you rightfully said, Honorable Speaker, my name is Shadrach Mose, Member of Parliament for Kitutu Masaba, and member of this committee. Honorable Speaker, first and foremost, I know I'm addressing this House after I have come out of an election petition, and therefore I want to thank my people of Kitutu Masaba. I will also want to thank the Honorable Judge of the court that dismissed the petition that was filed against me, and I will therefore proceed to make my contribution. Madam Speaker, the bill before you is an extremely wonderful bill, and sometimes it's very strange that members of this honorable committee, or of this honorable House, who are supposed to enlighten the public, actually appear before this House to come or to contribute against the motion. Most of us, and many of us have been in this city for a long time, we know Nairobi has an extremely serious problem in terms of transport. If you look at the people who operate from Kajiado, the people who operate from Machakos, the people who operate from Kiambu, Murang'a, we always have long traffic jams that always give us lots of problems. So that the Namata bill is going